All right. Well, thank you for coming back to class. Today, we're just going to talk more. We're in Microsoft Excel. This is the Intro to Microsoft Excel PowerPoint class. And my name is Aisha Price, and I am the instructor for this class. And we went through Microsoft Word. Now we're in Microsoft Excel. We watched a few videos about workbooks and formulas, sorting our data, filtering our data, some number formats, and a little bit about how to create formulas and how to edit different documents within the formula. We are working in a document right now that we have downloaded. And that document, I'm asking you to go ahead and open the document. And the document would have, the spreadsheet that we talked about earlier today. Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and look into that. And we've already talked a little bit about number formats. You watched a video about understanding how to use the autofill, right, to drag down either a date or drag down a formula. Okay, you watched a video about creating formula using the equal signs, understanding that you can use these keys on your computer, the plus sign, the multiplication sign, the division sign, to create those formulas, and that your formulas always start with an equal sign, and that Excel is so smart that if you click into the data that you want, it will start to create that formula for you once you start putting in that equal sign. So we did talk a little bit about that, okay? And you watched a few videos for that. And then I'm going to show you some things in detail when we get done, just going over what we talked about in the videos. And then the other video was about sorting data, how you can sort data by any type of column or row. You can sort by a name, or you can sort by a number. You can tell it to sort something that contains a certain field or does not contain a certain word or a certain number. You can also filter your data. You can filter the data out, so that way when you're looking for certain data, you can tell it to just put data that contains this word or does not contain this word. Or you can sort your data alphabetically. You can sort it by a different feature. So if you wanted to sort something by t-shirt size, or you wanted to sort it by a location, you can sort the documents that way as well. So Excel is so smart. It will do all of those things for you. We talked about we're going to talk about we did talk about, excuse me, creating worksheets, and then you're going to talk about modifying your worksheet and creating additional worksheets within that workbook. And I'm going to show you for the homework. Some of your assignments are going to be today. Are you going to, of course, practice everything we learned in class, okay, and at home? And what I want you to do, excuse me, is we're going to edit your spreadsheet, if you haven't added the different columns and rows that I asked. And then I'm going to ask you to do some filtering and sorting for your homework. So one of the filtering is going to be by the position. We recall that the different spreadsheet that we were working with had students, excuse me, not students, they were baseball players, and they had different positions on the field. So we're going to ask you to sort it by that. Another one of your filter it by that. Another one of the sorts are going to be, you're going to sort the data or filter the data by the school. You're going to sort the data by grade, age, and t-shirt size. So we're going to create that column for t-shirt size. And then we're going to ask you to create some formulas in your spreadsheet. The formulas that I would like you to do was create a formula of the dues paid per the school. Okay, so that way finalizing it would be, we would see how much of the dues that were collected from that school. Okay, and they're going to email that to me so I can review it before class, preferably, a day before or a day of class in the morning. You can send that to me and I can review that. But I want to make sure you understand what the assignment is. So let's go ahead to the document. And you're going to use all the videos that you studied already that we reviewed today. So we already have this wonderful spreadsheet, and it's our team roster, right? And we already have it. If you haven't filtered it out, now you probably know. We talked about filtering. You know how to filter or not filter. So you're just going to highlight everything, and you could click the filter button, right? One column that I did want you to go ahead and add. So I want you to add in your t-shirt column. So what I'll do is I'll delete it, copy it so I can have it. So I'm going to delete it so you can add it yourself. But I want you to, so you click on your column H, right click it with your mouse, click the insert to the left. Okay. And then I would like you to put in T-shirt size. Okay. Have it wrap the text. It should already be wrapped. Oops. Shirt size. Size. And I would like you to wrap your text. If it hasn't been wrapped, it will wrap. You can tell it to wrap your text right here, right? Mine's already wrapped. So I'm wrapping it. Adding my t-shirt size. Okay. And then I would love for you to add some t-shirt size is in here. Okay. And we would just do the small, kind of like we did on the video, medium. You're just going to click right in it, click enter, and it will go to the next field. And if you wanted to tell it to do a random for you, you can highlight those, copy, right click it, and you can just click on the first one, paste it, and you can just paste the values, or you can just click paste. Okay. If you wanted to randomize and put like a bunch of larges in one section and you wanted to do some smalls in one section, you also can hit control on your button on your screen and it will put them wherever, if you highlight control multiple times, it will highlight it and put it there for you. So you can just kind of randomize it if you want. That would be great. And you can highlight multiple cells if you wanted to go into multiple cells. Okay. So you can do that, or you can just do this, copy all three, paste it, or you can go to the bottom function you see here where you have the drag the autofill and it could autofill for you. Okay. I think you don't know really what the sizes are based on the grade and age. Everyone has different sizes. So my suggestion is just fill in some sizes because part of the homework is you're going to sort, you're going to have different worksheets. Okay. So that way we know that all of this is filled in. We have a date that they applied. We have if they paid, yes or no. And you see your filter, when you start filtering it, it's going to highlight it for you, yes or no, they paid. And you have a range of dues that paid. You can also tell it to, take out any of the zeros, right? And click OK, check mark on it. Okay. Or you could just tell it to clear. Make sure you clear it when you do that and then select all. Okay, always do that. So all your data will come back. One thing you saw in the video, it said you could sort. So you can do a data sort if you want by the last name. So format data. You can tell it to sort the sheet. You can tell it to sort by this column here. So that means everybody. So does anybody need me to go back and do that again? So all I did is I put my cursor in this first block here, we're at B7. So I put my cursor there. I just highlighted it right on the top row, and then I did data. I told it to sort, and I'm sorting A to Z, so it's alphabetical. Okay, and click that B, and so now everyone last name. So we have it all organized: B, D, E, F, G, H, all the way down to W. Okay, so it sorted all of the data for me already, so I didn't have to worry about doing that. I have to worry about moving things around. So now my sheet is in alphabetical order. Some things I do want you to do. All right. So what we see here, we're going to get rid of this pivot table and delete it, or we can just move it. It's fine. When you have another sheet, you can just click on it and drag it. So this is what I'm going to have you do for homework. For homework, I'm going to have you, we talked about different worksheets, right? So I'm going to want you to do some sorting, okay? So some of the things I want you to sort it out by, I want you to sort it out. So you can just click on your filter, and you can tell it filter, excuse me, I want to say the word filter, and you can tell it to filter by a condition. Okay. The first condition would be contains. You want to tell it what you want it to do. So you want to say the text contains. Okay. And then you're going to type it in. So I'm going to filter it by picture. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is all of this data, I'm going to tell it to filter it, but I only want certain data. Okay. So I want to highlight. So did you see how I highlighted it? So I started here in A6 because I really don't want all of that header up there. It's up to you. If you want it, you can have it. Another thing which you always could do is you could keep your data here, right? And then create your sorts on the other side. So that's another thing you can do, which is also very easy. So let's undo this. Okay. And let me show you how to create it. So here we go. So we're right clicking on player info. I can tell it to copy. Okay. So I can tell it to duplicate. I can tell it to copy into a new spreadsheet, or, which I don't want you to do. All I really want you to do is duplicate it. Okay. And then once you hit duplicate, it's going to say copy. So this one, we're going to change it. You're going to rename it. All you do is click in it. You see how I just clicked in it and just click rename. And this is going to be sorted by position. Sort by position. Okay. Or filtered by position, however you want to say it. Okay. So you could either just do that and then go here and then create your filter. You can do it by color. You can do that. Here's the condition. So the condition is it's going to contain, move it up so you can see, filter by condition. So it's going to equal text contains. Okay. So you can tell it a lot of different things. You can tell it the date, greater than, numbers, equal to. I do that a lot when I'm doing my data analysis. So I'm going to tell it the text contains a picture. Spell it correctly. Okay. So now it's all only going to be sorted by picture. Okay. All right. And then, or you can tell it to sort by the school. So the next one would be sorting by the school. So I'm going to do again is I'm going to right click this, I'm going to duplicate it. And then you see I have another one that says copy of player info. So this one is going to be, and I can right click it again and rename it. And this one is going to be sorted by school or filter by school. We can say filter by school because it's really a filter. And that's your school. Okay. I'll change the name of this one. Filter by position. And the reason why is because I wanted to tell me how many students. So next week, we're going to play around with some of these and we're going to tell it to count how many. I mean, I can highlight it here and tell you, but I'm going to tell it to count. Okay. So it's going to count each row for me to tell me how many pictures are. We can tell it to sort it by the ages, the grades. So you can always have like different charts within charts. We're going to do some tables next week. This one's going to be filtered by school. So let's go back to this one. So this one, and you can have it by each school, or you can have it do this. You can sort it by school. So you can go to click on the column, click in the actual document and this little row here, right? And you can tell it data, sort the sheet I, so short column I, and it could sort it. This one is filtered by, so sorted by school. Okay. So you could do that. Or you could also, since it's sorted now, you can actually copy it right click it, you can paste it. Okay. And then you can tell it how many, you can do your formulas, click on it, came up, tells you how much dues were paid. Okay. You could also tell it to tell you how many larges or mediums you need to order for that school. So, so those are different. So those are what I want you to do. Some of the things I want you to do. I'm going to rename this one. This one is BW, so it's Briarwoods. So that one is sorted by that. Okay. So basically you would have everything for each school. Okay. So that's one thing you can do. This is filtered by the school. This one is sorted by the school. And this is just so you guys can have practice, but some of them we're going to use for next week. Okay. Sorted, sort, BW sort. Okay. And then this will help us when we're going to do some tables and stuff like that. So this one is alphabetical by school. This one is just alphabetical by the players. Okay. And then if you want to just copy and paste your schools, you could do that. Okay. You can actually keep you see here, you can either do it within the filter, and you could tell it where to filter it. So you can unclick which ones you don't want, or you can tell it to clear. You say clear, it will clear all of them and only pick what you want. Click OK. And so now you have the ones for freedom. Okay. And you can highlight them, copy, and you can go in, put a new, and if you want to add a new sheet, you can just click this little add button here. Okay. And then you can just Control V, paste it. All right. Equals. It takes it for you. Okay. So this one is filtered by freedom. You want to rename it. Oh, excuse me, sort. You can do the name, or you can do, sometimes I do like freedom sort. Oops, sorry, my puppy. Hello. So you can do that. You can do sort freedom. You can, so these are some of the different things I want you guys to start doing. Okay. So you can understand it. And then I would like you to do a formula for each one. If you already know, oh, let me show you something. If you already know how to do some of your calculations and things of that nature, you can do that. Some people may know already how to tell the computer to count if it's a yes or a no. So this will be our main document that we're going to keep. The reason why we do that is because the reason why you create a lot of worksheets is because it's easier to get that data mined out. Next week, we're going to talk about pivot tables, and we do pivot tables. Pivot tables is actually doing this for us. So instead of us going in and filtering it out, the pivot table would filter everything out for us and tell us um, which, what's there, and it counts it for us. So we'll go over, there's so many different pivot tables, and I want to make sure I find the easiest way to do it for you, so you don't get confused. But there's a lot of good videos out there we'll go over, but I wanted us to have some documentation that you can start with, so that way you can start sorting and doing some of those things that I asked in the homework, and then create those formulas. Create a formula of the dues paid per school when you sort it, sort the data by the school, and filter your data out, filter the data by position, and then look at those different formulas, create the formulas that you want per school, And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at doing a pivot table and some tables next week and some charts and graphs. So that way we can utilize this data to have Excel create a chart and graph for us and some pivot tables for us, telling us, what the stats are for those students, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to post that homework assignment up there for you on Schoolology. Like I said, all of the videos are there. The biggest thing I just want is to make sure that, you guys went ahead and built out your spreadsheet. Okay. So if you need help building your spreadsheet, I can always help you, but I would love for you to rewatch some of the videos so that way you can build the spreadsheet out. Make sure that you created some of these filters. Okay. If you need to just create another worksheet, all you do is hit this plus sign right here. If you want to, change the name of it, all you do is right click it and click rename. You can also change the colors of them. Say you want them different colors so you can see it easier. It's up to you how you want to do it. Okay. I think that's great. Another thing is if you just want to move it over, you can move it over. Okay. To wherever you want. So you see how it changed the color for me. Say I wanted them all different colors. So it would do that for you. Um, Also, another thing is if I wanted to hide it, I can hide it. Say I don't want anybody to see that. Say, for example, even if I wanted to hide some rows or anything of that nature. So say, for example, this document is going to go to someone else and we don't want them to know the ages of an individual or their grade, or you don't want them to know certain information. And say, for example, they just need to order the t-shirts for them. So all they need to know is t-shirt size per school. You can hide any and that they need to know this information, right? So you can create a chart just for that, or you can hide any field that you don't want them to see. So you can click the top of it and you can do hide column. Okay. And when you hide it, you see it creates these little arrows up here. You see these little arrows up here, so you can tell it to hide or unhide. So there's a lot of different ways. You can also tell it to protect the spreadsheet. Say, for example, you don't want anyone to know what the name, you don't want anyone to be able to see the spreadsheet. You can hide it. Okay. And then you can unhide it if you want. And then you can create like different parameters for it as well. So I just unhighlighted it. But so this is a great tool. Excel is a great tool that you're going to use in life. So I suggest just trying to, take your time and do that. Learn them. Also, the other worksheet I want you to do was by t-shirt, right? So let's see, rename it, t-shirt size. And you can create many different filters. You can do it by grade, you can do it by age, you can do it by amount paid, you can do t-shirt size. So, there's so many ways. So we're just going to highlight this, or I can just copy all of it if I wanted to, right? I could tell it just to copy the whole thing, or I can just tell it what I want. And then I could go in here and tell it data sort, and I could tell it to sort here by t-shirt size, but I want to do it the other way. No, it's fine. Or I can do a conditional one too. Okay. And have it do it in order, like the small, medium, and large in order. It's up to you how you want to do it, but I want to make sure that you understand how to do it. Okay. So you have all of those people. Okay. So, there's so many cool tools and tips in Excel. I won't reiterate it anymore. I think you guys know, but the most important thing is just working in it, getting that practice that you need, and getting to that point where you feel a little bit more comfortable with the document. Do I have any questions before I log off, I'm going to stop the recording, but I want to thank you all. Here's your homework assignment. I want to thank you all for sitting with me and going over everything. But please let me know if you have any questions. Yes, Tracy?
Where do we find the recording of these sessions? I know that's the first time you sent it, but I don't know you send them every time we end a class.
Yes. So let me go ahead and stop the recording, and I will answer that question.